Hey ladies, I've been planning on going long thoughts and we think they're all true. And there was, I don't know the dates, but in the 1800s, there was a man who became a doctor in a maternity ward. And while he was there, he realized that there were, the women were dying more in the ward that was run by the male physicians than in the ward that was run by midwives. And he thought that was rather strange. And so he decided to do some research on that. So the research he did, the first thing he thought, well, the midwives have the women give birth on their sides and the men have them give birth on their backs. And so he asked the doctors in the wing to start having the women give birth on their sides to see if that would fix their death rate, because the death rate was 5 times higher with the doctors. And so they did that, and there was no change in the difference in the death rate. And so he's like, okay, so what else is different? And he found that another difference was when there was a death, the priest would come through the maternity ward with the doctors, and he was ringing a bell and doing a chant, and he's like, maybe it gets those women upset and they die. So he asked the priest to go a different direction and quit ringing the bell, but that didn't make any changes either. And so he had to take some time off. And so he left for a while. And when he came back, one of the doctors had died. See if I can't make my camera be clear. One of the doctors had died. And he had been downstairs in the autopsy room and pricked his finger, and he got a blood disease, and it killed him. And when this new doctor, when the doctor who's been doing the experiments, I don't remember his name, so that might be good if I knew, but he realized that the doctor who died had died from the same thing the women were dying from, and it was called childbirth fever. I'm not sure of which. So he thought, well, this is interesting. And so he did some more research, and he wondered, and he looked, and the doctors were the ones doing the autopsies, not the midwives. And so he asked the doctors that were doing the autopsies to wash their hands and wash them with chlorine. And he wanted that. He didn't know that chlorine killed germs. It's one of the best germ killers around, but he just knew that it would get rid of the smell. And so that's what he did. So they decided that they would quit. They would start washing their hands after being in the morgue. So they washed their hands after being in the morgue, and the death rates plummeted. And so like this was major. Women were dying 5 times more with the male doctors because they were doing what, I don't know what you do in the morgue, but they were with the dead bodies. And so he was like, we have to change things. We have to have rules about hand washing. But the doctors were like, this isn't really true, and we don't believe it. And so we're just going to go back to how it was. And of course, the death rates skyrocketed again. And there was nothing. He begged them and pleaded with them to please change and to start washing their hands and with chlorine, and they wouldn't do it. And eventually this doctor got fired, and he spent the rest of his life going from hospital to hospital, asking people, telling them his story and trying to get people to take on this new thing but no one would believe him. No one would believe that this was actually changing the the lives of these, saving these people. They didn't believe it. And so, eventually he ended up in a mental asylum, and he died of exactly what he had been trying to prevent from this bloodborne disease. It's just trying to ask people to wash their hands. And so, we get stuck in what we believe is true, and we know this is true, and we don't really want to hear other things. And I want to encourage you to open up your mind a little to what things might be possible, what might be different and possible for you if you could open up your mind and change just one thought about what you think you can do. Sometimes, like, I have a program I'm offering, and I can help you to change your life, to see your life differently. But if you don't believe it, then it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter, because you won't take the steps to get there. So let me switch the cameras, and I want to take you over here. Okay. So this is what we did in class. And so this is a hot air balloon. And let me tell you a little bit about hot air balloons. So they have ropes that keep it steady to the ground until they're ready to go. But we are going to talk about, so here's the ropes, and the ropes for us are going to be feelings. So if you want to do this doodle on your own, I want you to think about, what do you believe down here about yourself or about your situation? So for me, this is the thought that comes up a lot for me, is you're not good enough. And then my feeling is I feel inadequate. And I believe I misspelled that. We're not going to care. And so I want you to think about 4 different things that are holding you back from where you want to be. So another one might be, I might do it wrong. And I feel embarrassed here on this one. And then over here, let's see. Oh, I don't have enough time. And I'm going to put time or money. So on that one, we're going to write scarcity. Okay, right? And another one might just be simply, I'm afraid. Let's see. Let's say this, I might fail, which brings up fear. So think about where you want to be, or what changes you want to make in your life, and you decide what is anchoring you to the ground, what thoughts are anchoring you to the ground, and then write in what your feelings are that are holding you back. All right, that's step 1. And then I learned in my study about hot air balloons, I thought these sandbags were to keep people on, keep you on the ground, but they're not. They were actually, they help the balloon stay steady. And so I want you to think about thoughts you might have that can help steady you, like, oh, now I forgot what my thoughts were, all right in the middle of this. So then you have a thought that says, Um, I am learning, right? And over here, it's okay if I am not perfect. And then on this one and this one, just take a step. Take one step. And then on this one, try. All right. So these are the so you see how we're working up? We have anchor thoughts. We have our feelings that are holding us down. And then we have good solid thoughts that help steady the balloon when it's in the air. Except for we got a problem. This balloon isn't going anywhere as long as we're tied to the ground. And so on a hot air balloon, we have the fire that heats up the air in the balloon, and it becomes lighter than the air around it. So that's why it raises. So you have, this is energy. Now here's another thing. So we're creating energy all the time. You're either creating energy that's helping you or hurting you, but energy nonetheless. But we can blow this fire as hard as we want, except we're stuck on the ground. We're thinking good thoughts, but we're still stuck on the ground of stuff we believe is true about us. So I want you I want you to start thinking about what we can do to start getting rid of some of these thoughts that are anchoring you to the ground. So change your camera again. So think about these things. Think about what thoughts are keeping you stuck, that are telling you you're not good enough, or telling you that you need to hide, or whatever they might tell you. I've had thoughts for years that just kept me hiding. But usually I have an excuse, like you don't have enough time, you don't have enough money, and you're not going to do well out of it anyway. So this work has changed my life. And it continues to. I'm not perfect, and I still struggle with some of these thoughts, but I continue to move forward. And I encourage you to take a step to the next step, to find out what you can do. I would bet that you have no idea what you're capable of. So I'm offering another workshop. It will be about creating joy in your life, Doodle Joy. And you're welcome to come. If you're interested, please put in the comments below that you would like to come, and I'll get you on the list. It will be $17, and it will be just about an hour with some free downloads. So let me know, and we'll see you again. Please make some comments so I have more prizes to give out. We'll see you again. Goodbye.